Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, welcome to New Life Live. It is Thanksgiving today, and I'm very thankful that I'm not in the studio, that this is a tape program. But I'm thankful. There you go. And until then, I was thankful that Dr. Sheri Keffer, Queen of Gobbling, right there. That was Sheri. Anyway, Sheri, good to see you today.
Good to see you
Thanksgiving. One of the great treats in my life is my oldest daughter, Madeline, and she's flying in today, and so I'll be with her and the rest of the family.
Nice.
And here's Dr. Becky Brown.
Oh, I'm not a doctor, but I play one
you
on
do play
TV.
One, yeah. And she's president of New Life, and we're so grateful for that.
Well, but you're talking about family, and there's some people that are dreading
they
dinner.
hate it. No,
dreading
really.
it. And it's like, who's coming? And,
yeah.
Uncle Bill's going to come over and cause grief for everybody or say something dumb. And
they want instant rice. They want a TV dinner. They want to be in and out and just get on.
And how do they deal with the tricky situations?
Yeah. Well, how do they do that? Let me tell you this. Worst thing you can ever do is decide that you're going to resolve some issue on Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Yeah.
Let it go. I mean, that's my tip, is do not engage in the big issues. Yeah.
Well, politics, religion, all those things.
It's true. We're excited. I just want to share a little excitement. My stepson-in-law, Coleman, he has been married for a couple years, and they are pregnant.
Nice.
So we're going to be spending Thanksgiving with them, and they've named their little baby to be. His name is Caius. We haven't met him yet. He's still in her womb baking, right?
Yep.
But that word, that Caius, means rejoice. So we are rejoicing this Thanksgiving with a new baby to come into the world, and I'm going to be a grandma. I have to figure out what to call myself. I don't want to, the Nina, Mimi, Mama, Gigi, whatever. I have to figure all that out, but I'm just excited to be with them today.
That's awesome. And you're right, Sheri, there are so many of us that are celebrating the family being together, and so we want, we don't want to dismiss that. It's just to your point, Steve, if there are underlying issues that you are thinking, I can't wait to see cousin Sue or sister whatever, you're not going to fix that on Thanksgiving Day and make it a good day for everybody. You want to be the best version of you when you show up for the family gathering, right? And that may require a walk around the block before you go in the house.
Well, keep this in mind. You're going to bite into the turkey. Bite your tongue also. when you're tempted to say something that is not going to move this thing forward in a positive way, bite your tongue. Please do that.
Well, and you always talk about the difference between expectations and reality.
Misery's in between.
That's right. And
so
you may be thinking courier knives as you go into the house, right? And it may be more, what would be an alternative to courier knives?
Hell.
Maybe Calvin and Hobbes or something like that.
No, whenever the kids would go ice skating, I'd always say, okay, so seeing the figure skating on TV, that's what we're going for. And then you get there and you can't even go fight.
Exactly.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We're thankful for you. And I'm just wondering if you figured out how to carve out a little time and just you and God out in the backyard or somewhere telling the Lord what you're thankful for. Because it is a great day to stop and just look at everything. Bill W. of AA says, I don't care what you tell me about how grateful you are. I want to see what you're doing as a result of your gratitude. Really profound.
Love that.
We will be back right after this.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 1st through the 3rd. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Here's something to be grateful for is that you could be free of things that you don't want in your life, like guilt, shame, remorse, fear, anger, bitterness, depression. To that end, we have the Emotional Freedom all-day seminar, online, convenient. Dr. Jackie Mack Harris, Chris Williams, and myself, and we have proof that people have gotten free from a lot of things. And so go online, newlife.com, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to have you. Not too early to sign out because you do get the early birdie special when you call us right now.
And we do the breakout groups.
Yep.
It's just like our in-person workshops. It's just online
Yeah.
in the convenience of your home.
So you're not just listening, but you're doing some work.
Right.
Really is transformational. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Palm Bay, Florida is where Tony is calling from. Listens to us online. Tony, hi. How you doing?
Hi. Good. How are you guys? Happy Thanksgiving, and thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. Thank you.
I have a situation that's been going on for over a year. A 34-year-old daughter that she is a medical professional. She was married, has 3 small daughters, and was neglected by her husband, and went into some sort of depression. Met a guy online who's a crack addict. The man is also a narcissist, and she has tried to get away from him repeatedly over the course of this year. And it lasts. At first, it started for 4 days, and she'd run back to him. He also got her hooked on crack, and she went back, neglected her daughters to the point where she recently tried to get away from him for about 3 weeks. He called her up, and she just went. And so there's a trauma bond, I think, that's formed there. We've done a little research into this, and our family's been devastated by this. Her daughters, they're small. They're small daughters, and it's just we're beside ourselves for this. We leave it up to the Lord. We're people of faith, and we have prayed and rebuked the enemy out of this. We're just frustrated with this entire process.
So the question for us would be what?
So the question for you is how do we is there something that we can say or have her do? I mean, she doesn't want to go to any in-house rehab. She's willing to do it, but how do we facilitate her from going to this man? And secondly, when she in light of her choices, how do we as a family deal with this? I mean, it's difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on a second. So, what has she said to you about you helping in any way? Has she said, stay out of my life? Or has she said, is there anything you could do? Where is she in that?
None of those.
What is her thought, or what has she shared with you about anything you might want to do to help?
She knows that this man is not for her. but she doesn't understand why she keeps going back to him.
Well, okay, but I'm asking you to tell me what she said to you about you helping her.
Nothing.
Has she said, I don't want you to help?
No, she hasn't said that.
Okay, good. Because you know what I would do? I would be doing what I could do while I'm asking the Lord to do what I can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be a good combination? So it's not like I'm going to trust God to take care of this, but I'm going to trust God to take care of what I can't influence, and then I'm going to do what maybe could be helpful. At least I'm going to try. So I'm wondering if you think it would be appropriate for you to have a little discussion with the person who is destroying the life of your daughter.
I tried that. In fact, I led him to the Lord. He went to jail. He came out of jail after being there for 29 days. And this is the type of guy that he rambles and rambles and rambles. And if you don't see things his way, he shuts you down.
Well, I would absolutely be in his presence to hear the rambling and be shut down as I request that he get out of the life of my daughter.
Yes.
If that was my daughter, and my daughter's about that age, and somebody was about to drive her off a cliff, I would jump in, I would grab that steering wheel, I'd do whatever I could. Literally whatever I could.
Well, and the thing is, Tony, you're dealing with people who are addicted. I mean, they're both not of sound mind, and you have these granddaughters that are not in a safe situation. And so if your daughter hasn't shut you down, the next step will be to get help. So it'll be maybe you do an intervention. Maybe you and your wife probably need to be going to Al-Anon, because you've got to be equipped to know this game that goes on when people are not in their right mind. They're both struggling. I know that sounds very sympathetic to the problem, but she's not going to be able to do this on her own.
Right.
She cannot. And if you think,
She cannot.
And the thing is, if you know that, which you just said you did, you've got to do whatever it takes. Like if she were hit by a car and we're on the side of the road saying, no, I got this, I'll get to the hospital, you'd be like, no, you don't have this. We need to get you to the hospital. That's the mindset you have to get into, Tony. And these girls are depending on the sanity of the people around them to help them because they are struggling with this situation.
Yeah. So
the girls are with the father, so the girls are sheltered, and we don't want.
But
her
they know,
around.
but they know their mom is not in their life, and that's also traumatic for them.
That is.
Sheri, what are your insights here that might turn this situation around?
So, Tony, I actually love working with trauma-bonded individuals. And do you know why I love working with trauma-bonded individuals?
Why?
Because there is a story behind the story. There's a story behind why they're trauma-bonded. And it can be very confusing to everybody around. It can lead us, family members, into a feeling of helplessness that defies gravity, because they get trauma bonded to people that are harming them. And it doesn't make sense why they keep running back. It doesn't even make sense to the one who's running back as to why they're running back. So I feel like with individuals that are trauma bonded, I am having to go deep and wide to excavate the soil under their feet. And so there's some missing pieces for me, Tony, that I'm listening to you and I'm like very curious, but I am wondering what has happened early on in your daughter's life where she felt emotionally abandoned, unseen, unheard, fearful that she was going to lose someone. I don't know where her mom is, your wife. Has there ever been a time in your life early on where you were struggling in your marriage with your wife and where there was a separation?
No.
Okay, but tell me the story that's there, because there's something. People just don't become trauma bonded without some abandonment. So can you let us into that?
She actually alluded to a term she used that I had never heard before, the term of a fawn.
Okay.
A fawn, and she said, "Look it up, Dad. It's when you grow up and you grow up in an environment that you're trying to please all the time."
Yes.
And so I and I realized this, of course, after you make the mistakes. I grew up as an angry person.
Okay.
I disciplined my kids in anger.
Okay.
And I've apologized for all of that. Okay. But at the same time, I was very loving. My love language was touch, and I kissed them a lot. I hugged them a lot. I loved on them a lot. But at the same time, if I got angry, look out, because the belt was coming off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
And I disciplined them in anger, which is wrong. You should never do that. But then, you know, over time, I have seen that perhaps that had something to do with it. I don't know. I do a lot of introspection, and the fact that she told me that, I said, well, maybe I'm the one at fault. But now you're making choices that are harming yourself and your family, your children. So this is something that you need to. Sure.
Tony, can I ask a question? What happened in the divorce? Did he leave her? Did she leave him? What happened in their divorce?
The husband did not want to divorce her, but because she has incurred this enormous amount of debt, I mean, which is totally unlike her at all. She's incurred enormous amounts of debt, well over $100,000 in debt. And we persuaded him to go ahead and just divorce her, because you cannot assume any of this debt or be associated with this debt.
So even in that, this is probably one of the toughest conversations, and I just want to be so loving with you, Tony, because I hear your openness of heart, and I love that. We love that. Probably one of the toughest things that a parent will ever have to face is how something that happened early on in their lives, even though they've said, I'm sorry, please forgive me, like, we want it to go away, right? We want it to be cleansed and forgiven, and it is by Jesus. But that left some tracks in your daughter's heart. Her spending is about looking for comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And so in a family that someone who's grown up where they feel like they've needed to be perfect, and they've been afraid, and they haven't felt like in those days when you did love them and kiss them. It's just there were times where she was scared out of her mind. And she didn't feel safe or comforted by you. And maybe your wife, her mom, didn't step in, didn't protect her, didn't rattle the cage and say, wait, no, you need to leave. This is not okay. So she may have felt unprotected and unsafe and uncomforted. So she found a drug addict. And you know what drug addicts provide? They provide comfort. They're just who they are. They're messy, sloppy, accepting human beings. And I'm not judging anybody out there who's got a drug addiction. But why are drug addicts attracted to other people that use? Because they sit around and use and accept each other, and they numb out. Well,
yep.
She's hooked to somebody who's numbing out, who accepts her. It's seductive.
Well, I wonder too, Sheri, the overspending is another form of, not being in herself. So that was the predecessor to the drug use. She's got a lot of wounds that need healing.
She's got wounds.
So what could he do?
He needs to get help. Tony, you need to get help because this is affecting you. And as well as I would maybe even suggest an intervention. She's not going to get help on her own.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, and my wife too. My wife is. We were both in the same position, and other members of the family are equally as distraught with all of this.
We can connect you with an interventionist that can help your family get to the next step.
That would be wonderful. Yeah, that would be wonderful.
But Tony, I want you to go deep, because when your daughter comes back, she's not going to need to hear how she could be fixed or what she did wrong, or even, it hurt to have you persuade her husband to leave her because of debt. It's like she's been hurting and everybody's trying to fix her, but no one's listening to her scream inside.
Yeah. We'll be back right after this. More New Life Live. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop. A lot of people are you could literally say, in bondage from past trauma that has created an emotional web that they don't understand, and it prevents them from being free. A person that loses their temper regularly is not emotionally free. Someone who has anxiety just to get in the car and leave the house is not emotionally free. And walking around with the shame from a childhood or even a bad relationship as an adult, that is not emotional freedom, and we can help you get there.
The New Life Emotional Freedom Online Workshop is Saturday, December 2nd. Steve Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Dr. Jackie McHarris will present information on the power of our emotions, procrastination, guilt and shame, and more. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or register online at newlife.com.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad you're with us here. Dr. Sheri Keffer, she is the author of Intimate Deception. I'm going to send Tony, Take Your Life Back. I hope that that's going to be of value to him and others in his family. And I'll ask all of you, I'd be grateful for here on this Thanksgiving Day, be very grateful if you would pray for them. They really do need a lot of prayer.
We'll get them connected with our intervention specialists too, because the whole family, as you mentioned, Sheri, they all need help and healing. That's what happens.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Richard. Richard, Los Angeles, California. Listen to KKLA. Richard, how you doing, and how can we help you today? Richard?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
Can
hi.
you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that it would be that quick. Thanks for taking my call, first of all. Is this Steve?
It is.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, first of all, congratulations. I was listening yesterday, and you guys are celebrating 35 years. It's
Thank you.
You know, it's I've been listening to you guys for quite a while now, and just want to throw that out there. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. My question is, I have a history of alcoholism, but, you know, I've been sober for over 20 years by the grace of God.
Yeah.
Great.
And I had knee surgery probably in 2009, doctor prescribed me some pain medicine, and long story short, got hooked on the pain meds, and been off of that opioids for about I'd say 7-8 years now. But the doctor prescribed a medication called suboxone. I don't know if anybody's heard of it.
Yeah.
And
so you're on that?
Now I'm trying to get off of it. How do I get off of it? Because I've tried before, and the withdrawals are just pretty unbearable. They prescribe medications like I forgot the name of it, but it just doesn't work.
Well,
and it's causing some major depression and anxiety, and
Richard, what else are you doing in this journey? You got group, you got counselor, sponsor. What else are you doing?
I'm going to church, and I have people that hold me accountable. I'm not going to like NA or anything like that, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges when we're trying to get free of addiction, and you obviously have been successful a couple of times, but now you're in this place where the chemical process isn't helping you, and you want to get off of that medicine, but it's just too painful. In recovery, what we learn is the power of that community, the power of the deep healing that our use has been covering up. We have wounds inside of us, and we talk about addiction is an intimacy disorder. It's where we have so much pain inside of us that we will use something to cover up that pain because we can't get relief from it. And so what I would encourage you, Richard, is to do some really deep work to find out what has been beneath all of this, at the same time trying to find out what the chemical support could be to reduce your use of this other agent, so that eventually you're going to call us and say, I'm off of all of the things. And I've been in a group, and I've got a sponsor, and I've done some counseling, and all of those things together are really going to get you on to a path of recovery and freedom.
Yep. So, Sheri, you have a thought here for him?
Well, what do you think about what she just said first? Do you have a thought?
It sounds great.
Okay, but there's a big
but. Yeah, there's a big but. How does one go about doing all that?
She's.
I have organizational. I have ADD and ADHD and lack of organization. I can be told something, it sounds good, but me processing it in my brain and trying to make it happen is another thing. Is a task in itself.
So this is the deal. You know what's really amazing about New Life Radio is you're going to get to listen to it all over again. You can listen to it 10 times because what Becky said was right on. I have worked, Richard, with people like you that are coming off of suboxone. I was doing it when I worked at a drug and alcohol rehab center. And they have to titrate. Titrate means you come down off of it. A psychiatrist has to work with you.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with the psychiatrist.
Okay. And so he starts titrating, right? And just takes it a little bit away at a time. And then all of a sudden your body and brain begin to respond to that, taking it away. But what Becky said is true. I wouldn't even start titrating with you unless you were in NA.
Right.
You know why? Because you're going to have a bunch of feelings.
Right.
And those feelings are going to trigger you. And the last thing you want to do is come off of suboxone and get back onto opioids. And the reason Becky's saying, hey, my friend, do some deeper healing. Just like we invited the other caller, did you hear Tony? Like there's some issues that need to be addressed, but you can do them one day, one step, 1 week at a time. But you're going to need everything Becky said. while you're coming off the suboxone in order to not go back on an opiate.
We'll be back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. No one thing solves everything. And suboxone doesn't solve anything, really, because the withdrawal is just as strong from that. I always started working with alcoholics in 1971, and they'd say, if you put 100 alcoholics in a room and they go through withdrawal, every one of them are going to walk out.
Yeah.
You put 100 heroin addicts in a room, every one of them are going to walk out. Mm-hmm. The question is, which one's harder to walk out of?
Right.
Well, there are medications that make it easier. But if you're not going to do the work once you get out of the room, okay, then you're nowhere. It's not just, as you were saying, not just stopping.
Right.
It's starting a brand new life. Mm-hmm. And so if we're not going to start something, and you can't start it on your own, you have to have other people. You have to have a group.
And like we were talking at the break too, is people get really focused on the thing. I just need to stop drinking. I just need to stop doing drugs. I need to stop eating, need to stop shopping, whatever the thing is. But what you really need to do is ask yourself the question, what happened to me? Where did this start?
Right.
And how do I get healing for those deep wounds that I just want to cover up with other things?
Yeah. Speaking of deep wounds, Larry is in the studio and has helped a lot of people with deep wounds. Mm-hmm. And so, Larry, what do you have with us for us today?
I heard you talking earlier about the workshop coming up on December the 2nd.
Yeah.
So I just want a quick testimony here.
Okay.
I realized I've been holding on to more hurt than I have been telling myself. I didn't know the proper word for it at all, but it's unresolved emotion. I was taking past anger and reacting to those who are close to me. I was nervous about being in a group, but that was the best part of the workshop. Those in my group poured so much into me, and it was beyond fulfilling. Folks, this workshop's what you need. You know, we do one for the guys and their sexual stuff. We do one for the women who are betrayed their hearts. And this one is for you. And we do one for married couples. But this is for you that have other issues that you feel left out because we're not addressing you. Well, this is the one. So come to it one day, simple, make a whole difference. You'll become a new person.
Yes, and everybody that supports us allows us to do these things. It's why we're still here 35 years later. And I want to ask you to support somebody that really does need freedom. They got it wrong. There was a misrepresentation of how you get better, or a misinterpretation of Scripture that hurt them. You support us, we're going to clarify that with them. We're going to get them on the right path. I'll give you an easy way to do that. If you want to join us by being a financial supporter, all you have to do is text NLM to the number 28950. 28950. 28950. Do it every way I can. 28950. It's the way you can give instantly, immediately. And we use that to reach people and to help them finally get rid of that thing that is absolutely destroying every part of their life. Anything else, Larry?
Just real quickly, this is Thanksgiving. Two of the people I'm most thankful for at New Life are you and Becky, sitting there side by side today.
Aww.
You have started and continued something, Steve, all these years. You've given me great opportunity to be a part of it, and I can't tell you the gratitude I have. And I can't tell you the gratitude I have for Becky. She has made my life livable. I might have ruined hers, but it's wonderful, and she's done a great job. I just want to express those expressions of gratitude.
Well, thank you for that. And let me just tell you, your work here has impacted millions and millions of people, Larry. It's just unbelievable.
It has, Larry.
And I hope you feel that, because a lot of people feel it because their life is different, because you have been such a part of 30 years. Well, you've been here 20. I think it's, January 1st?
Yep.
January 1st, 20 years.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
Well, and I'm grateful for you too, Larry, for all that you do for so many. And you've made a difference in my life. Obviously, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Well, and my mom and dad too, but that's
exactly. All of that.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Okay, back to the calls.
Okay. Let's go to Jerome, Dallas, Texas, KWRD. Jerome, hi, how you doing?
Real good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Here's my situation. I've been married to my wife over 30 years. We have I have a son by a previous relationship. She has a daughter by a previous relationship, and then we have a son together. They're all adults now. Now, we're around 70 years old, and she told me about a year ago that she didn't want to have any more sex. Now, previously, our marriage has been off and on, up and down. Previously, she told me that in college she was raped, etc. But now, at about 70 years old, she don't want to have any sex at all. However, I have seen within the last 6 months tampons in the trash can. I'm like, what is this? What's going on here? And she tells me that whenever there's something wrong medically I need to tell you about, I'll tell you. But anyway, those are the things that's going on. And, as an older man, I still like to be intimate at times. And I don't want to just throw it up right now and forget it all. Hey, wait a minute. Can you advise me?
Yes, we can. I'm going to take a stab, and then we'll hear from the women. But my thought, Jerome, is that you have to connect in a different way with her heart. She has to see you desiring her at age 70 in a deeper, richer way than just in a sexual way. To me, if we can't communicate true love, compassion, care, desire for the whole person, a desire to help their life be better because we're in it, then it's just so difficult for them then to want to be physically sexual again. That's my best for you and sometimes you even have to just sit down and say, what could I do that would cause you to want to spend more time with me? What would you enjoy if we did it together that maybe we're not doing? And just take the word sex out of the conversation for a very long time and see if that isn't a better path.
Well, and I'm thinking too, Jerome, this is a communication problem, not a sex problem. But I'm wondering, because as she ages, as a woman ages, her body changes. We actually talk about this at our intimacy and marriage workshop, because a lot of couples don't realize that things change when you get older. Yeah. And so she may be experiencing something that she doesn't know how to talk about, doesn't feel safe to talk about with you. And that's where the breakdown, she's just going to say no because she doesn't want to deal with it. So I would say, I love what you just said, though, Steve, is have the conversations about how we can connect, as opposed to, like, just about through sex. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you need to be connecting with each other that will maybe ultimately lead to that.
Sheri, you have a thought might help him in the restoration?
I do. Jerome, you know what I hear?
What's that?
I hear fear. Fear. That somehow you're afraid that you may not have sex again. Is that true?
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. And so when we get really scared because we feel like something is shutting down or closing, or a chapter may be ending, we become more desperate and we become less compassionate. What Becky talked about, and I don't know that really it's easy for men to understand this, because it's really kind of an anatomy thing. But when hormones begin to change in a woman's body, do you know that sex becomes very painful? I've even had women that have bled and having sex because their hormones have changed, and they go through the motions, but they're hurting. There's tearing of actually their flesh. And if a husband doesn't realize that they're hurting, maybe even bleeding while they're having sex, and they just want what they want when they want it, you're going to miss her. You're going to miss her heart. You're going to miss her pain. And it's going to feel there's going to be a big disconnect between you two. Because
Sheri, she's probably afraid too, right? Like they're both
I imagine
fear.
she is, because she doesn't want to disappoint him.
Right.
But when things are changing in your body and you're not able to have conversations, and that's why I think, hang on. We would love you to talk to one of our New Life therapists together to help you guys figure out what might be a path through this.
Mm-hmm. We'll be back.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a new life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we love you. We're thankful for you. And we want the best for you. And when the best isn't happening, the only way we can get the best to you is you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have some of the best people ever. A new person came on the scene at New Life. He was sharing today in our devotionals that he's overhearing the folks on the phone say things like, well, here, just let me pray for you. And he's hearing this love and compassion for people that call us. We've got a great team here.
Yeah.
And you call us, we'll do the best we can to help you. And that number, 1-800-229-3000. Let's go to Shelley. Kent, Washington, listens on Sirius XM. Hi there. How are you, Shelley?
I am doing okay. I'm struggling a bit. I don't know how to deal with my emotion and the hurt feelings that I feel when I hear my 11-month-old granddaughter's name.
Okay, let's hear what's happening here. Why is that hurtful for you?
So I'll tell you. My husband and I have been married almost 4 years. I found out that he was watching pornography, and I also found out I found a picture of his very first girlfriend naked out on a bed.
Uh-huh.
And so now, and her name was Janie. Mm-hmm. And every time I hear my granddaughter's name, Janie, I visualize that picture, and I wonder, is my husband visualizing that picture? And he went to Every Man's Battle, and he's in a men's group, and he's taking all the steps, but he doesn't have control over this, and it's going to be in my life forever.
It doesn't have to be in your life. It doesn't have to be in your life forever, and that's why I'm really glad you called, because there are people that specialize in helping rid you of this traumatic thing, so that it becomes a thing, not something that just devastates you every time it comes up. Sheri, you want to talk about what she could do to not have to be devastated every time?
So, Shelley, thanks for sharing. I have a quick question. When you said that he doesn't have control over this, what do you mean by that?
Well, he doesn't have control over the fact that my granddaughter's named that name.
Right. Right. But what he does have control over, he can make choices about pornography, whether he's going to use it or not. He can make choices about that actual photo that you found somehow, right? I mean, you were probably on what I call a truth-seeking mission, trying to figure out what was going on, and that's when you came across the photo, correct?
Actually, so this, I found the picture probably 2-3 years ago.
Okay, you were already married.
Destroyed it.
Okay.
Yep, and he destroyed it, and I wasn't actually seeking. I was getting his lunch stuff out, that he, like the containers out of his backpack, and I saw the picture.
Okay.
In there.
And he destroyed it. That's good.
Yeah. So what happened?
He's taking the steps,
Good. So this
when we
is
watch TV, he changes it when it's something inappropriate.
good. Those are great signs. So what happened at that moment, because he had his ex-girlfriend's naked photo in his backpack that you stumbled upon, that's called discovery trauma. Discovery trauma. So you have a wound around that picture. And even though he's destroyed it, the wound that you have is in you. You're not making too much out of it. It's not like something you're doing wrong. And what's happened is when you began to ask him, of course, who is this naked woman in your backpack? He told you the story. And her name, Jamie, was your little granddaughter born yet?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, my granddaughter was not born
All right.
when I discovered the picture.
So truth be told, once you found out this was of his ex-girlfriend, guess what? You would have not liked the name Jamie in any girl. But what's happened, because of the trauma, but that your granddaughter was named Jamie. And so now there's these two things that are colliding. Your love for your precious granddaughter and a trauma discovery. So that's called coupling. You've coupled the name Jamie with the sexual trauma of the naked photo, and that name just happens to now be the name of your granddaughter. So if I was working with you, if I had the privilege of working with you, I would do something called EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And I would process that name and the pain that you had around finding that discovery, that photo, and I would help to desensitize that from your granddaughter. And I want you to know it's possible. Yeah. I do things like this all the time. It's just a form of trauma treatment. And so I want you to stay on the line. I know, Steve and Becky may want to share, but I just want to have you stay on the line so we can get you somebody who does it in your area. You don't have to suffer for the next 20, 30 years with your sweet granddaughter and have all these feelings around her name. You can get that desensitized.
Yeah. Well, and the other part too, Sheri, is speak into her own healing. If he's doing his work for his porn use and addiction, what can Shelley be doing to continue her own healing?
Right. And if she could go to Restore, that would help. Doing the work with a counselor and who does
You're not alone,
good trauma
Shelley.
therapy,
right.
There's great hope for you to be in a much, much better place.
So we're going to send you a copy of my book because I know we just have a couple minutes here. It's called Intimate Deception, Healing the Wound of Sexual Betrayal. And in it, Shelley, it's packed full of steps that you can take in order to heal. I wandered broken for a long time, and I don't want that for you. So we'll send you the book, and you will see what I mean. I talk about EMDR in there and many other interventions. But I wish you well.
One more thing. We'll scholarship you into our Emotional Freedom Workshop because you held on. It's on December the 2nd, and that's going to help you, and it would help anybody that's struggling with this residual pain that is, as Sheri said, coupled with something that comes up all the time. And I'll tell you, I've gone through this kind of trauma treatment for myself because there was a word that came up and just kind of like this, and it doesn't hurt anymore. So I want that for you, and I want it for anybody that's listening. Call us 1-800-NEW-LIFE and say, tell me about this treatment that could literally make my life so much better because I don't have to react every time I hear something or see something. Now that Emotional Freedom's coming up December the 2nd. You can sign up now and still get, I think, the early birdie special. Should be on Thanksgiving since it is a birdie day. Yeah, oh my goodness. Every Man's Battle, December the 1 through the 2 and 3. It's in Dallas. We'd love for you to be there. And then Lose It for Life. We do it once a year. It is a way to lose weight, keep weight off, because we never ask you to do something you couldn't do for the rest of your life. And then intimacy in marriage, February 16th. If you could help us, please do. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And if there's any way that we could help you, it's that number. And we really, really do love getting to help people. Thanks, Sheri. Thank you, Becky. And thanks to all of you who listen, watch, and support.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.